Oprah is defending her friend Gayle King over this interview Gayle did with WNBA player Lisa Leslie, during which she asked Leslie about Kobe Bryant and his 2003 rape case. Now, Oprah is speaking candidly, tearfully actually, defending her. Watch.
She is not doing well. May I say she is not? She is not doing well because she has now death threats and has to now travel with security. And she's feeling very much attacked.
But other celebrities like Snoop Dogg are slamming Gayle. Take a look.
We expect more from you, Gayle. Don't you hang out with Oprah? Why are y'all attacking us? We your people. You ain't coming at Harvey Weinstein asking them dumb questions.
In another post, Snoop references Oprah and the Michael Jackson documentary, ending the post by saying, "Free Bill Cosby." And now Bill Cosby is weighing in, posting this to Instagram from prison somehow, saying, quote, "It's so sad and disappointing that successful black women are being used to tarnish the image and legacy of successful black men, even in death." Erica, is Gayle to blame here? What did you think of Snoop Dogg's response? Help us make sense of this.
I'm not going to say who's to blame, but I do think that we're trying to make a very uncomfortable conversation complicated. And I think we're doing that because clearly there is a lot of emotion and a lot of hurt involved. In order to really have a conversation about why this has been such a big story, if we have to talk about what was happening in 2003 when Kobe was first accused of rape. There were two different Americas. We had white households whose parents were telling their white daughters to beware of Kobe's in the wake of O.J. Simpson. We had black households who were telling their kids about the story of Emmett Till, the 14-year-old black boy who was killed in Mississippi for allegedly whistling at a white woman in 1955, and we later learned that that wasn't the truth. So when we have these two very different conversations happening, we see this Kobe Bryant situation very differently. We have some people who see a black man who got away with raping a white woman. Some of us see a black man who was accused of raping a white woman and did something that was historically daunting. He not only got past these allegations and moved on with his life, but he went on to be great and inspire a lot of people. Some people will see his apology as an admission of guilt. Some of us see his apology as fighting for his life. And we think about Emmett Till and how many times he apologized for something he didn't do in order to fight for his life. So when we're having these conversations in mainstream media, especially as a black woman in media, we have to be so careful because this narrative has already been out there in a way that mainstream media was never about, because there was zero representation in 2003 to even have a thought of what the Kobe side could have been. And now we're here and we're having these conversations, and we can't have these conversations with even a hint of not having a historical context in them, because it is just that painful. And that's the reason why no one wants to hear from any black woman, black man in mainstream media that isn't speaking love and peace and honor on Kobe Bryant's name less than 2 weeks after his death. And that's the reason why there's so much backlash. And until we have that conversation, we're not having a conversation at all, because we have to decide if we want to have a comfortable conversation or a complex conversation. And the story is just uncomfortable. It is not complex.
Wow. I just want to say before we move on, I'm learning so much from you as just a white woman, all the layers, all the trauma, all the history. I see you visibly shaking.
It's painful, Sam.
And I'm learning that. And thank you. I mean, in 2 minutes, how much can we really discuss? But I hope one day DBL can have a larger conversation about just race in America, and we can bring up examples like this so we can better understand where the pain comes from. So thank you for that, Erica.
I want to say thank you, too, because I don't want to be silenced about this. I saw you in the dressing room. We talked about this yesterday, and I said thank you yesterday for opening my eyes to this. I know how difficult this is for you. In the dressing room, I told Eric, I go, can it just be as simple as it was a journalist trying to push the envelope to get a bigger story and made a mistake, made a mistake. People make mistakes. But for Erica, it's much different than that. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you letting me see that side. So thank you.
And thank you. But I don't agree with the backlash that Gayle King is getting. I mean, she did make a mistake. And maybe we haven't, because we haven't been honest about what's at the root of all of this pain. So it's never okay for someone to receive death threats. I feel terrible for her because I can put myself in that situation of saying the wrong thing. Maybe I said the wrong thing today, but in my heart, I don't feel that I said the wrong thing. I said what I had to because we have to protect our brothers, and we have to protect our nephews. We just have to. And now people understand this conversation so differently because the Me Too movement is making white men think about these conversations. Now we're having these conversations, but this is not the beginning of this conversation. It's been happening for a very long time.
Wow.